At Alumni Field for Game 2 of this doubleheader between the Keene SwampBats and the Ocean State Waves. I'm Ryan Vespatch here with Dan Shea. And Dan, how are you feeling after that first game?
Yeah, it was a great win for the Waves. I was just down in the dugout for a little bit, getting our Game 2 lineup. The guys definitely happy with the performance, and a big win as the Waves now climb above 500 going into Game 2 here.
Not only going into Game 2, but in the middle stage of the season, where this is the time where teams start to form and get into that rhythm heading into the last stretch of the season as we head into July. How important is it to be above 500 now?
It's very important, and especially with the way that the Waves have been playing as of late. They built up to a 4-game win streak. Once they lost, it was then a 3-game skid going into last night against Danbury. Got the big win against the Westerners. Now have been able to build on that with the first win at Alumni Field for any team on this season.
Well, first pitch is going to be underway shortly as starting lineups and national anthem is coming up. We'll be right back here at the NECBL in Keene.
The catcher, number 8, Zach Hopkins. Batting 9th, the shortstop, number 31, Andrew Bell. And on the mound for Game 2 this evening, the SwampBats from the University of Connecticut. And from Pennsylvania, number 17, Kyle Peters. Umpires for tonight's game, Morris Hoppett behind the plate, Aaron Brown and Brian Ross on the bases. At this time, draw your attention to the area behind home plate for the singing of the national anthem this evening, being performed by Ray Mahoney. Oh, can you see by the wonderly light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Back here at Alumni Field, where the SwampBats are set to square off against the Ocean State Waves. But before that first pitch gets underway, we check down to our sideline reporter, Andrew Hilsman. Andrew, what you got for us?
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Well, Keene with a little bit of a tough loss, a 3-2 loss against the Ocean State Waves just a couple of minutes ago. The offense didn't really get going until the middle innings, so it's going to be important for them to try and get going in the early innings. They weren't able to do it last time. A different pitcher, and Kyle Peters is going to look to shut them down and keep the SwampBats up through the first couple of innings. We'll see how they get along. I expect a more high-powered offense this time through. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Andrew. So first pitch just getting underway shortly, and he's right. The offense has been off to a very slow skid as of late, especially in these last 2 games. And it's very important, especially in this past week for the SwampBats. In the first inning of each game, they've fallen behind in the first inning. So you need that offense to really counter off of letting up those runs early on.
Yeah, always extra difficult when you're playing one of these doubleheader games too, which of course are shortened to 7 innings. Every at-bat a little bit more important, and when you go down down 2-0 in the first regular game. You've got 8 innings to get that back. In the last game, SwampBats only had 6. They were able to tie things up, but unfortunately, Waves able to squeak ahead at the end and outlast them.
That's right. And on the mound for the SwampBats today is Kyle Peters, the Connecticut, the Yukon senior, heading into his senior year. He's 1-0 on the season so far. He's done a great job in limiting runs in his 3 appearances so far, with a 3.27 ERA in his 11 innings of work. Also, keeping that walk count low is very important here, Dan. With 11 innings of work, only 4 walks, tallying 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's something that's super important. We saw that, unfortunately, rear its ugly head for the Waves the other night against the Vineyard Sharks. They fell 11-0 in a game where they got 1 hit, and despite it being so one-sided, it was a really long game as the Waves walked 15 or 16 batters. It made for really long innings, really frustrating innings for pitchers. And if you've been to the Shark Tank yet this season, those fans like to get loud, and they were definitely letting some guys know that they couldn't find the zone.
Well, fans are also starting to trickle in here at Alumni Field as the bleachers, the grandstands are getting very swamped, and over in the stands down the right field line, including that bullpen. Nothing like warming up before a game and you have a bunch of fans just on you right then and there on the tarp over there. As with this scheduled start as well, it's important for fans to be here, not like game 1 where fans just trickle in.
Yeah, it always adds to the environment when you step on the field. You've got the music going, a little Welcome to the Jungle playing over the speakers right now. Fans are filing in, everybody's getting excited. You can feel the energy of the field. We've got the lights turning on as the sun begins to set.
Yeah.
Definitely feels like an important game, and especially after Keene lost that last one so close, it's going to be important for them to get this one back. And what a swing it could be for the Waves if they're able to sweep this series.
It really would be. A lot of doubleheaders so far for the SwampBats. This is the 3rd one this season. They have another one coming up, which will be their 4th on Sunday. So it's been a very jam-packed time as first pitch just getting underway. Leading off is Dugote for the Ocean State Waves as he takes that first pitch on the outside corner for strike 1, and we're underway.
Brandon Dugote looked great in game 1. He had fallen into a little bit of a dry streak at the batter's box. He went 1 for 2 with a walk last time out, but made some absolutely fantastic plays in the infield, took away multiple hits from the SwampBats.
Has that fielding prowess behind his back, but he's behind here as Kyle pitches ahead 0-2. Peters sets the 0-2. That one just off the outside corner goes with the fastball.
And this would be huge for the Waves if Dugote could get on board. He led off in the last game as well. And in that first inning, it was a couple softly hit balls from him and Ryan Garrity. They both were able to reach on infield singles, and that's what really got things rolling for the Waves early. They loaded the bases with nobody out. Gavin Greger got a 2 RBI double. The offense completely quieted down after that. 12 straight Waves, 13, were retired before they got their next base runner, but just getting those early runs can do so much for you momentum-wise moving through a game.
And Dugote being a solid rock in the top of the lineup, which really showed early on. You saw some fielding miscues in game 1 where he was able to advance, get on first base, and then come around and score later on that inning. Jumping out to that early lead seemed to put the SwampBats really on their heels in that game.
Yeah, and I would say on the other end, it also gives Ocean State a lot more confidence defensively. We saw Corey Kling go 5 innings, throw a lot of pitches. Probably a big part of him being able to carry in as long as he did was knowing that he had some runs in his back pocket.
Ground ball over to short, throwing to first is in time as Tupou is able to maintain his footing on the bag with the stretch. 1 gone.
Nice play that time from Tupou. Looks like the glasses might have taken a bit of damage there as he stretched off of first base, but he'll take it.
And a great stretch. We saw, like I mentioned last game, you know, Dugote was able to reach because of Tupou's drop at first base, so that time was able to make up for it in the first inning with a great stretch, working to his left as a lefty as well with his right glove. Definitely tough catch to make, but the umpires will be getting together to go over this one. We saw a call overturned as well back in game 1 of the doubleheader by this umpire crew.
Yeah, that was a really interesting one. That was right at the end of the 6th inning. Kale Paisano was on first base. We saw a little pickoff move come back. They are going to confirm the out here, but we saw a little pickoff move come back. The tag was in time, but the first baseman didn't have the ball. The umpire's view was a little bit blocked. He called him out. The Waves dugout erupted, of course, and ultimately they did overturn that, bring everybody back out. And Paisano ended up getting picked off anyway, so a little ball don't lie
Yeah,
moment.
ball. Heard a lot of that on the sideline from the dugout for the SwampBats. That one's fouled away quickly by Garrity. And Thompson works over, but that ball will be out of play. And the umpiring crew, as you mentioned, back at first base in game 1 was Maurice Hoppert with that call, but right now he's behind the plate, calling balls and strikes for game 2 of this doubleheader. And Brian Roth had to make that call at first base here in game 2. And over at third is Aaron Brown, who was behind the plate last game. The 0-1 to Garrity takes that one high. That'll even the count at 1.
Yeah, Ryan Garrity batted second in the first game. He went 1 for 3, but a routine ground out ended up grabbing him and the Waves the go-ahead run in the 5th inning. Ryan Garrity picking up the winning RBI in game 1.
The 1-1 pitch fouled away. Now he'll be behind in the count, 1-2. Even some balls as home plate umpire getting set, asking the ball boys behind the screen back there. Some youngsters trying to get some balls prepared and rubbed up, get ready for this game. The 1-2 pitch, driven to center field, that's gonna get in for a base hit. So the first base runner of this game happening early once again for the Ocean State Waves.
Yeah, really well hit ball that time from Ryan Garrity, 95 miles an hour off the bat, just scorched that one into shallow center field. Big for the Waves to get some early base runners going, and the man at the plate now, Justin Hackett, is somebody who they may really be relying on in this game. He hit 2 home runs last night against the Danbury Westerners. 2 games before that, he hit home runs on back-to-back at-bats against Upper Valley. So if Hackett could get the long ball going in this one, it would certainly be a welcome addition for the Waves.
That's right. Hackett has been very clutch lately, especially in that win, like you said, before the game 1 of the doubleheader. He had 4 RBIs in that game. He's had 2 games where he's had 4 RBIs. What's been the problem with him is getting on base with that batting average.
It's the consistency, really, for Hackett. He's batting 3rd in the order here, just like he did in game 1. It's the highest that he's been slotted in the batting order this season. So the Waves staff really showing confidence in Hackett. He went 0 for 2 in game 1, did reach on a walk in the 1st inning.
That's right. In the game before that one against Danbury, he was 8th in the order. As he swings and misses at that one, he's behind 0-2. Kyle Peters going, really sticking with his fastball so far, throwing it majority of his throws so far.
He likes the high heater for sure. Got Hackett to swing and miss with one there.
Garrity leads off first. The 0-2, driven in deep center field. O'Brien takes a step back, now trickles in, makes the grab, and that'll be the 2nd out.
Yeah, it looked like Hackett just got a little bit under that one. Unfortunate there, as that was a fastball right over the heart of the plate. He recognized the pitch right when it came off the bat, thought it had a chance to go, but it died very quickly, and routine play in the outfield.
And Gavin Greger steps in with 2 gone. Once again, Garrity on first base here in the top of the 1st. Once again, 7-inning ball game here in game 2 of the doubleheader. As a pickoff attempt, and Garrity slides back in safely.
Waves very aggressive on the base paths. Ryan Garrity is a guy who's got some speed. I would watch him on first base here.
The runner holds. The pitch by Peters is a breaking ball in there for a called strike. So he goes and backdoors Greger on that pitch.
Greger was the big man in the 1st inning of game 1 for the Waves. Got a 2 RBI single that kept them in the lead for the first 5 innings.
That one's fouled back, and Greger behind in the count, 0-2.
Gavin Greger was fueling up on some hot dogs between games when I was talking to him.
Yeah.
Said he was a fan, but that he was also very hungry, so anything he ate would have been rated highly.
There's nothing like ballpark dog.
No,
I
it's
can't
perfect.
lie. I had 3 of my own, so.
I had 2 myself.
Peters sets. That's the pitch he likes. The 0-2. Struck him out. Kyle Peters works out of the jam in the 1st as we head to the bottom half. No score after 1 hit. You're watching the NECBL in Keene.
Quiros drills it to right field, and it is gone!
Keene, New Hampshire, where Cole Richardson is on the mound for the Ocean State Waves. Dan, what you got?
Yeah, so Cole Richardson, he's making his 4th start of the season for the Waves. He's gone 9 1/3 innings so far with a 4.82 ERA and 11 strikeouts. Ellisville, Mississippi native, plays his ball over at Southern Miss, and I would be looking for a pretty productive day out of Richardson. He had his best outing of the season last time out against the North Shore Navigators. Went 3 1/3 innings, surrendering no earned runs and striking out 3 batters. So the righty Richardson getting the call here for an important game 2, and the Waves will be hoping that he can give him at least 3 to 4 innings.
That's right, and he'll be faced with O'Brien, Herring, Perez, the outfielders for the SwampBats to lead off this ball game. And that's the top of the lineup that when the SwampBats offense is on, those 3 are key in their success.
Yeah, those 3 were the top of the lineup in game 1, and they struggled a little bit, uncharacteristic considering the strong seasons that they're having, but they went a combined 1 for 7 with Perez getting the 1 hit. Herring reached on a hit by pitch. Perez was also able to reach on a walk, but just in a game that didn't have a ton of offense, Corey Kling, the Waves ace on the mound, getting 5 innings. It'll be interesting to see how things change with them facing Cole Richardson.
In the field, catching Cole Richardson is Durand. Over at first base, LaRose. Seidel at second, DeGoty at short, Hackett over at third, and to the outfield at left is Paisano, Gregor in center, and Garrity in right field.
And it will be interesting to see, as this is Kale Paisano, one of his first starts of the year in left field. Zach Plasher, the game 1 left fielder, had to exit with an injury. He was replaced by Jack LaRose, who is not in the lineup for this one. Actually, he is, but he's playing his natural position of first base, so Paisano moves over after playing first in game 1.
A couple of quick balls out of Richardson as he sets for the 2-0. Another fastball missing high, and it's 3-0 now to the leadoff hitter. Very important to set a tone. New arm entered into the ball game. A 3-0 on the outside corner for the first strike.
Yeah, good pitch from Richardson to regain a little bit of control on this at-bat. You don't want to start the game with a walk, but certainly don't want to start it with a 4-pitch walk.
Ball 4, and just like that, a leadoff walk for the SwampBats here in game 2.
Yeah, so that's O'Brien's first time reaching base over these 2 games. He looked solid at the top of the order last time out, just couldn't find his way to first base. Felt like a guy who was kind of due at the plate, and now that gives the SwampBats some momentum as the leadoff man was aboard in the first.
And I'm sure in a 7-inning ball game, it's a lot harder to have more offense, especially when you're down early like they were in the first inning. It feels like you have a lot less time to come back from that.
Yeah, it's only 2 innings, but the game really sneaks up on you, and everything counts just a little bit extra. It's like every run is doubled.
And a game where even at their home field, they were the away team too, so they had less opportunities in the field as well. Maybe not being used to that.
Yeah, a little bit awkward to be playing at your home field but batting in the top of innings. The Waves became the first team to get a win at Alumni Field, but the SwampBats still technically undefeated at home as they were considered the away team in that.
That's right, that's right. Technically not a home loss for the SwampBats this season here in 2025, but the SwampBats do have a loss at Alumni Field, I guess we can say now.
I'm almost rooting for Keene to finish out the season undefeated at home, so that it always has to be mentioned that the Waves did beat them at Alumni Field, but they were the away team.
As Herring fouls that one off as he continues to fight. Here down 0-2.
And this was a theme that was very similar in the first game. They got that pitch count of Corey Kling up very quickly, fouling off a ton of pitches, working a lot of deep counts.
O'Brien goes. The throw to second will not be in time as O'Brien swipes second easily.
Yeah, great lead on that one from Michael O'Brien. It was a good throw from Durand, who has a really strong arm back there. DeGoty got over quickly, but O'Brien just with a great jump on that one.
And it wasn't the best pitch to run on, as well as a fastball high and outside and off the plate, so it set up a better throwing angle behind the plate, but it was still a little too late. The 1-2 is fouled away. With that being a ball, it's still nobody out here in the inning, and what Jack Herring has to do is try to move O'Brien over here.
Yeah, SwampBats could resort to a little small ball to try and grab an early lead in this one.
Herring continues the fight. The 1-2. Off the outside corner with that one breaking ball. It counts even now at 2. You mentioned the pitch count being so important. They did a great job in the previous game getting the pitch count up from the opposing starter, but he still worked into the 5th inning, which was very impressive. You don't see that a lot in the NECBL.
Yeah, Corey Kling went right up around 80 pitches, which was impressive, especially from him because he only has about 30 innings of experience at the college ranks as a big strikeout that time from Cole Richardson.
Yeah, after a 7-pitch at-bat, Cole Richardson wins it against Herring in the first at-bat, that Herring was able to have here in game 2. That'll bring up Perez. Perez has been an extra base hit machine for the SwampBats since his late arrival last week. Been very clutch with runners on as well. O'Brien leads off a second with 1 away. The first pitch to Perez is taken in the dirt. A good stop behind the plate by Duran. That'll keep O'Brien at second. That breaking ball spiked before the plate almost. That ball took a high hop on Duran behind the plate, but he was able to really field it very well. Got his body in front of it. No advancement on the base pass.
Richardson just trying to do a little better job of finding the zone as he progresses through this one.
That one's fouled away on a check swing attempt by Perez. O'Brien faked a steal on that one. We'll see if he tries to go here, knowing that he can steal on Duran to second. Much different ball game when you're trying to steal third, however.
Certainly is, but there's also definitely an element of being behind the pitcher, trying to move and just get him to lose a little bit of concentration.
That pitch is taken high.
And I've seen Richardson a couple times try to go with the quick release, kind of look back to second base, and maybe before the batter's quite ready, quickly whip around and deliver his pitch. Probably very hard to place something when you're going through your windup so quickly.
The 2-1 is on the inside corner for strike 2. But in a SwampBats lineup that has so many lefties and switch hitters with this righty on the mound, with Perez up being a righty, you also have a better chance swiping third with less of a lane to throw on behind the plate. The 2-2. Breaking ball outside. Now to run the count full.
Big pitch here for Cole Richardson as you're looking at 2 very different starts to the inning if you have 2 on and 1 out versus a man at second with 2 away.
O'Brien, the go-ahead run on second base. The full count pitch to Perez. Grounded over to third. Fielding it is Hackett. He'll throw on to first, and that will be in time to retire Perez, but O'Brien advances to third here with 2 outs.
Yeah, Perez does a job there in getting O'Brien over to third base. Probably would have liked for that one to sneak through for RBI, but again, SwampBats in good position here. That go-ahead run just 90 feet from home plate.
That brings up Chandler Tupou. Tupou, one of the great first basemen, day 1 starter for the SwampBats. He's been in the lineup almost every single game this season. Takes that first pitch on the inside corner for strike 1.
Yeah, really no changes to the top of this lineup for Keene. Tupou was batting 4th last time out as well. He did go 0 for 3, but of course, new pitcher on the mound, new ball game here. See what he can do.
The 0-1. Taken in the strike zone as well, and he's behind 0-2. Yeah, once Perez made his late appearance with the SwampBats, Tupou only saw 1 game where he wasn't in the starting lineup, as Perez is also a first baseman, as that pitch is taken high and out of the zone for ball 1. Perez also can play left field, so left and right field, as he also has a start in North Adams in right field, but this game over and left. The 1-2, driven foul, out of play. The pitch count over 20 for Richardson here in the first, as that one misses as well for ball 2.
Yeah, this is not exactly the inning that Cole Richardson would have been looking for, having to work a little harder than he would have liked to get out of it, but if he can get this third out here without letting any runs come across, he will have certainly done his job.
1-2 is driven to center, falling fast, coming in on it, and making the play is Paisano, as that will end the inning. So a base runner left on for the SwampBats. We have no score after 1.
Just south of Keene, friendly owner operator for 75 years, carrying quality furniture for every room of your home. The lucky ticket number 365 8288. 365 8288. And get your golden capture. 365 8288.
Back here at Alumni Field, where there was no score after 1 and 2 pitchers that seemed to be on their game so far, Dan.
Yeah, certainly. Cole Richardson worked through that one, got out of a bit of a jam, and then for the man on the mound here, it's going to be, sorry, I've got my notes a little bit mismatched after doing the first game, but it's Kyle Peters on the mound. He worked through pretty well, led up the single to Ryan Garrity, but ended things on a high note, striking out Gavin Greger to end the inning. He's going to get 5, 6, and 7 in this Waves lineup with Jack LaRose, Brandon Duran, and Kale Paisano heading up. Paisano, as I mentioned before, getting kind of a novelty start in left field today, not a position he usually plays. Made a great play to end the last inning, charged in on what could have been a little bloop single for the SwampBats, and was able to make the play to get the Waves out of a tough spot.
That ball was hit with lots of backspin, but did a great job. Lots of forward spin, actually, where that ball was dying fast, but Paisano was able to get under it. Well, leading off is LaRose for Kyle Peters. Kyle Peters, what he did last inning was very impressive. Was he got ahead of hitters early. We saw in the bottom half Richardson doing the opposite of getting behind hitters, but he was still able to work out of it.
Yeah, it's always a positive sign when you can get ahead in counts. Just makes a pitcher's life easier. When you're facing, 2-0, 3-0, it's hard to work your way out of, because hitters at the plate just know what you're going to have to throw.
He nails that first pitch in there for the first strike. He sets the 0-1. That one just off the outside corner for the first ball.
Jack LaRose at the plate. He's been playing a little bit of everything this year for the Waves. Lined up at first, third, and in left field last night. Played left in the last game, replacing Plashert. He's at first for this one.
Swings and misses at that. That'll be 1-2.
Rose yet to make any appearances for the Yukon Huskies, where he plays his collegiate baseball, so that just makes all the at-bats he can get this summer that much more important.
Fouled away by LaRose, he stays alive. Went to go chase that fastball. Good pitch location for Peters. He was able to get that high, just about above the letters of LaRose, but LaRose didn't like it. It was too close to take, and he's fouled it off. Still behind, the 1-2. Breaking ball, chopped foul. He stays alive.
Looked like it caught the mask there of the home plate umpire, Maurice Hopper.
Yeah, somehow it got by Zach Thompson behind the plate. It really just got the home plate umpire and Aaron Brown behind the plate. The 1-2, struck him out. Kyle Peters starting the inning with a K.
Yeah, and a little bit of a frustrating one that time for Jack LaRose. He got a piece of that. You could see him quickly look back, thinking maybe he had been able to foul it off and stay alive, but sure hands behind home plate there for the catcher.
Right, Zach Thompson able to squeeze it. Went with that fastball that he went to a couple pitches ago, high and above the letters. Was able to get a swing and a miss that time. Swing and a tip / miss, I guess we can say, for the first out. But that'll bring up Durand, the Ocean State Waves backstop. He takes that first pitch in there for a called strike.
Yeah, Brandon Duran getting the start at catcher after DHing in the first game. Certainly the Waves' most experienced guy defensively behind the plate.
Pops that one up to Bo, calls everyone off by the first base side, and makes the play for the second out.
Yeah, so Duran still trying to figure things out at the plate a little bit after a really hot start to the season. He's got some serious power and pop with 2 home runs so far on the year, but he went 0 for 2, striking out twice last time up. He is able to put something in play there, but unfortunately a routine fly out on the infield.
Now Paisano, the lefty, taking a good hack at that one, but fouls it out of play. From Happy Valley, 6'3" lefty. Has some power. Is behind 0-2 after taking that breaking ball in there for a called strike.
Yeah, Paisano, pretty big guy at 6'3", 220, definitely brings power to the lineup. Similar to Jack LaRose, he's yet to have any appearances for the Oregon Ducks, so the at-bats that he can get this summer are really important for his development.
He's behind the 0-2. Struck him out! Kyle Peters, 3 up, 3 down as we head to the bottom of the second here with no score. Fans still hanging out here at Game 2. They're sticking around for the actual scheduled home game here at Alumni Field on a beautiful, beautiful Friday night after a very hot week we had in the Northeast, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely a welcome change to have a little bit of cooler night for baseball here. We've got a nice breeze coming into the broadcast booth now. Everybody feeling comfortable out in the field as opposed to a couple games where guys were, you know, having to really do everything they could to cool off. The Waves even had a little kiddie pool in their bullpen for Monday's game against Upper Valley. That one was 93 degrees at first pitch.
I mean, what do you do with the kiddie pool when you're out in the bullpen, though? Do you jump in it?
So, I mean, the guys who were off, they got to sit in there and relax. I assume, you know, if you come out of the game, had a good outing, maybe get a little running start, get a cannonball, get the guys fired up.
There you go.
A lot of options.
Well, leading off for the SwampBats here in the bottom of the second inning is Ripken Reese, who hit a homer back in Game 1 of the doubleheader, as he takes a healthy cut at that one for the first strike.
Yeah, Reese responsible for both of the SwampBats runs in Game 1 with that big homer. I believe that one was out to right field. If I'm remembering, the distance was right around 360 feet. It was one that you really got a lot of. The only time that Keene was really able to get on the starter, Corey Kling, for the Waves.
And that really shifted the game's momentum completely, as there was a 2-run homer to tie it, which was big for the SwampBats at the time, but the offense just could not continue that momentum.
Yeah, the Waves lucked out. They had a couple big double plays, some big defensive plays from DeGote over at short, and then played a little small ball with Garrity, getting that go-ahead run. Able to squeak out a win in Game 1, trying to follow it up with a big performance here.
That breaking ball's off the inside corner. That'll even the count at 2. Yeah, nothing like being in that bullpen when you have a bunch of young fans by you. You know, you gets heckled a little bit, but it is your home field. That one's fouled off of the right leg of Ripken Reese.
He felt that one for sure, as you could see him kind of hobbling down that first base line. It'll take a little lap as he comes back to the batter's box here. Looks like he put that one maybe right off his shin. funny enough, leg that he's got the shin protector on, but it seems like it caught him just above. Seems to always be how those things work.
Yeah. I mean, usually when you see the Evo Shield, you see it with the foot guard as well, but that time it didn't hit either of them. It hit above it. Hopefully it didn't get his knee, because that could be the worst part, you know.
He's smiling with Durand as they kind of laugh that one off, so he appears to be all right.
Oh, Richardson ready to deal. The 2-2 pitch. Fouled away. Ripken Reese still able to work these at bats. And that's what the SwampBats have been able to do, not only today in this doubleheader, but throughout this season, is foul off these close pitches and keep themselves in at bats and see better ones that they think they can hit.
Yeah, it's something that I'm sure the coaches with Keene are very happy with, because it's really a reliable skill. In a game where you're hitting the ball well, doesn't matter if the at-bats are long or not. You know, you're getting bat to ball, you're getting on base. But in a game where you're not hitting the ball so well, if you can get the long at-bats and at least drive somebody's pitch count up, draw walks, it's very beneficial.
Ball 4 to Ripken Reese as that breaking ball missed off the outside corner. And the leadoff base runner once again for the SwampBats.
Yeah, so for back-to-back innings, Cole Richardson walks the first batter he sees, and he's already about to throw his 34th pitch of this one, as he's only recorded 3 outs.
Cole Richardson was able to bounce back after the leadoff walk last inning with a strikeout. See if he does the same here. As that one gets away, but does not get too far from Durant behind the plate, as Ripken Reese might have had a chance to advance on that one, but says he didn't see it.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Right as he was kind of sauntering back to first base, that ball squeezed through the legs of Brandon Durand. Didn't really have time to change course and take off for second.
Ty Manolfi takes that one on the outside corner for the first strike. And that one, yes, that's tough to read when you're at first base, because first of all, you can't see it really get behind him. It went through his legs, so it's not like it went around him when you're able to see it at first. But Durand did a great job getting to it quickly, holding the runner as he stops that one once again for the second ball.
Richardson trying to find the zone on the rest of this at-bat. He's been looking pretty good with the high velocity. That pitch came in at 90 miles an hour, but just needs to pound the strike zone a little bit more, get after these SwampBats.
Breaking ball misses once again. Now he's behind 3-1.
Ty Manolfi came into this doubleheader on a serious hot streak, hitting 11 of 25, a 440 average over the last 7 games. He actually went 0 for 3 in game 1, so Richardson trying to take a page out of the book of his Waves teammates and put Manolfi away here.
Yeah, Manolfi really doing his job lately, and especially after a time where you commit to a new school, that's when the pressure can sometimes come off. As he takes ball 4 there and 2 walks to start the inning from Richardson.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit like what the Waves were struggling with against Vineyard. It's just sort of an issue that compounds. You start throwing balls, it puts you in a bad spot in the count, then you end up walking guys, and then as you allow more and more base runners, and it starts to kind of get more in a pitcher's head where it's like, I need to throw strikes, I need to throw strikes, I need to throw strikes. That's when it becomes a more difficult thing to do, especially if you know the guy at the plate is expecting that.
And he gets a visit from Durand and also a couple of other fielders for him, as Degody and Hackett also pay him a visit. Saw a few pats, letting him know, listen, it's okay, we're still early in this game, no score. Just attack that strike zone. As Nick Romano steps in for the SwampBats.
Yeah, Richardson's been showing good stuff so far, not really making big mistakes. It's really just finding the zone and finding that consistency. So I think that meeting was all about letting him take a deep breath and his teammates trying to pick him up, give him some confidence.
The first pitch is off the inside corner for another ball. He's been sticking with that fastball lately now after the past few at-bats. He was throwing it pretty often, but missed with ball 4 with the fastball, and now he's trying to stay with his fastball here as he throws it again and misses outside that time for ball 2.
Yeah, and this is a tough spot to be in. Down in a count 2-0. You've already walked the first 2 batters of the inning. You need an out, and you need it badly. We're going to see what Richardson offers here.
Comes set, the 2-0 pitch. Low and called a strike on the border of the strike zone.
Yeah, maybe a little generous for Richardson that time, but we'll see if he can capitalize.
See if he goes back to that changeup here. He dribbled to the left side. It takes a wicked hop on Hackett. Reese is waved around. He will score easily. And corralling in and left is Paisano. He finally gets it into the infield. And just like that, it's an early lead for the SwampBats. It's 1-0.
It'll be interesting to see how that one is scored. I think it may go down as an RBI single, as Hackett didn't actually make contact with the ball there. He was ready for that one. I think he was thinking about maybe turning a double play, but it just takes a wicked bounce right in front of him, gets over the glove.
Yeah, and that's a good feeling if you're Reese. Rounding second, rounding third, you're heading straight there. And once you see the ball get by you yourself, thinking you can score pretty easily, as I'm sure Paisano wasn't prepared for the ball to be that shallow into the outfield when you're fielding it, but overran it as well. But no further advancement on the bases, so you have Manolfi leading off a second and Romano off a first, still with nobody out.
Yeah, Ripken Reese actually got slightly lucky there as he was trying to really pick up speed to round third. You could tell he was still feeling that foul ball. He had hit off himself, kind of sauntered up and almost limped into home plate, but as you mentioned, Kale Paisano overrunning the ball, there was no play at the plate.
Oh, it's all smiles over at the dugout for Ripken Reese now as he's chatting it up with Michael O'Brien over there. Zach Thompson, who faked a bunt. He squared the bunt, really. I don't know if it was much of a fake as he gets set to swing now, and he takes that one outside for ball 2. In the previous pitch, he squared the bunt. He wanted to advance the runners, looked like, but he got a high fastball that he didn't want no part of.
And Richardson needs to try to stop this trend of going behind 2-0 in counts. Just always puts you in a bad position.
There's a strike right there. Goes back to the fastball and gets it across the letters for strike 1. So what will be the official scoring on that? They'll rule it a hit.
So they did award the hit.
2-1. Bunt attempt over down the third baseline, and that'll roll foul. So put a little too much mustard on that bunt attempt was Thompson.
Looked like a pretty nice one at first. If that had stayed fair, he had a great chance of being able to reach on the infield single that time, but just a little bit of backspin creeps it over the line.
Yeah, off the bat, it looked like it was going to be a great bunt attempt. Had a bunch of grass, but like I said before, just a lot of speed. It really picked up and went foul. Manolfi off a second. Romano off a first. The 2-2 to Thompson. Fouled away once again. Thompson getting the start behind the plate for the SwampBats. There's been a lot of rotations lately as Ripken Reese has been able to catch lately. Also TJ Schuyler, the usual backstop for the SwampBats. Aaron Brown calls the time. He wants that plate looking pretty. He swipes it off.
Always an important job.
Oh, yeah. Richardson sets the 2-2. Driven to left. Great play over at third is Hackett, and both base runners retreat for the first out.
So Justin Hackett makes up for the previous play, had a grounder skip over his glove. That allowed a run to score that time, taking away a run as Manolfi had a solid lead off of second base. If that one had gotten by Hackett, it was going to take a pretty good throw from Kale Paisano to stop that second run from coming across.
Especially with someone with Ty Manolfi's speed. That would have been a tough play, but you don't have to think about it now as Hackett was able to corral it. So for the first out now, and Bell steps in. Takes that first pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Bell still looking to get it going for the SwampBats. It was a late addition, but last time the SwampBats wore these uniforms just 2 weeks ago from today, he had a walk-off hit by pitch against the Upper Valley Nighthawks.
Yeah, we talked about that one a little bit on the previous broadcast. Even though it wasn't a walk-off hit, he still got the usual treatment. His teammates meeting him off the field, giving him a little post-game victory shower.
Oh, yeah. He's still looking to get it done with his bat. Has an opportunity here with a runner in scoring position. Pickoff attempt at second. Throw too late as Manolfi slides it head first safely.
That was actually a pretty nice pickoff move from Richardson that time. We've seen pitchers having a little bit of trouble when they try to pick off back to second. It usually looks a little bit more awkward than that, sometimes results in a strange lob pass.
The 1-1 on the outside corner for strike 2. Goes back to that breaking ball that he's been using. You saw him earlier spike his curveball a good number of times early on in this inning, but looks like he's starting to find his control.
Yeah, that's really the big thing for Richardson. When he get those off-speed pitches going, becomes a whole different animal on the mound.
Yeah, look at that one right there. Goes with the curveball and just misses off the outside corner. So now that he's elevating that curveball, still don't want to hang it, however. See what he goes back to here with the even count. The 2-2. Struck him out. Cole Richardson with back-to-back outs now. Recording that one with a K.
Yeah, that was a big time at bat from Cole Richardson. Base runners for back-to-back innings, really in a jam after he walked the first 2 batters, led up the RBI single, but regaining control here as, 1-0, a lot different from potentially a 3-0 game, especially in a 7th inning.
Michael O'Brien stepping in. He's walked his last time up. Took the first 3 pitches, took the first 4 pitches as the 4th pitch was called a strike. That one's in there, and now he's behind 0-2. So he got ahead 3-0 his first plate appearance, and now behind 0-2 in this one. Manolfi off a second. The 0-2 rounded over to first. Corralling it is LaRose. He makes the play, and that will retire the inning. But the SwampBats tag on one with an RBI single from Romano. It's 1-0 SwampBats. We're heading to the top of the 3rd inning.
2 men left on deck.
One more disappointment, added to the ones you left behind. There he goes, on a second, got him. One that's gone, 2-run shot for the whistle. This young man has played. The payoff is crushed. Love the beams, love the schemes, touchdown. But hurting me, you're the shot. Deep to left.
I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the balls in the place. I'm talking one chance at best, yes. Painting pictures for the culture, keep the brushes fresh. Flip the cover, work the drummer, passion never rests. Freedom is a teacher under pressure, now we blessed. Yeah, it's one all, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
On-field shenanigans starting to wrap up here as we're looking to get the 3rd inning underway. SwampBats with the lead, and Kyle Peters now leading 1-0 with the offense. Starting to have his back now. First time the SwampBats have been able to get a lead early this game.
Yeah, certainly would imagine that gives a lot of confidence to Peters on the mound, knowing that he's got that run of insurance. In a 7-inning game, of course, already. 3rd inning. Time starting to creep up on both teams as the Waves are going to need some offense here to respond. Otherwise, they'll risk trailing for most of this game potentially.
That's right. It's very important as a starting pitcher to know when you have a lead so you're able to pitch a little more, even though it's a slim lead, only 1-0. So you hang a breaking ball, it gets put over the fence, it's a tie ball game just like that. But
yeah, we saw that in the last game. The Waves led most of it 2-0, and then it was just one pitch that it was actually Reese able to jump on from Corey Kling, tie the game up.
Something that a lot of SwampBats pitchers of late have yet to get out to an early lead, and now just like that, some insurance behind Kyle Peters here in the 3rd. 1-0 ball game. Stepping in is Johan as he takes that first pitch in for a called strike. The breaking ball getting over the outside corner.
Long day of baseball today for the Ocean State Waves. 8:03 here locally on the East Coast. I joined the Waves on the bus this morning at 11:30.
Dang, that's a tough one. That's definitely one where you wake up, it's already work time, and now you're not going to get back until what time? 1 o'clock. in the
Pretty
morning.
late, yeah. It was similar last night, getting back from Danbury, but you know, the game 1 win certainly providing a spark.
Driven here to right field, going back on it is Herring. He makes the play for the first out. First out recorded by Kyle Peters. We get our food here in the
Yeah, this is
press
nice.
box.
Little delivery. Thank you very much
Very
to
nice.
our volunteers here for the SwampBats.
Yeah, a lot of good food here. A lot of good fries. We don't get to make an appearance. We don't get to make an appearance at Ocean State. What's some good food over there, however, that you tend to get a lot?
Well, it's actually, as Seidel's going to ground this one over. It looked like a pretty routine
Reese.
play, but it's off the glove of Reese, so Sam Seidel will reach for the first time between these 2 games. But going back to your question, it's actually funny that you say that. The Waves arrived to Old Mountain Field this year to find that the concession stands had surprisingly been closed by the town of South Kingston. So we've had some revolving food trucks coming in and out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's rough. That's definitely a rough one. You know, you don't have concession, really.
No concession, but often the guys getting a sponsorship from Twisted Pizza after the games. Always enjoy going over there.
Popped up by Degody. Heading back on is Reese. He makes the catch for the second out. So after Reese made an error at second, he makes the catch. There's 2 gone, and that'll bring up Garrity. Garrity smoked a single his last time up the middle.
Yeah, Ryan Garrity has been one of the better hitters in this Waves lineup, hence why you've seen him bat second in both of the games today. Enters this one with a 262 average, but that was as high as 350 just a couple weeks ago.
First pitch to him is flown out to center. Going back onto his bell, he waves off the outfielders, but O'Brien steps in and makes the grab, which retires the side. So once again, no runs on 1 error. 1 left stranded. We're heading to the bottom of the 3rd. It's 1-0 SwampBats.
At M&T Bank, we believe in the power of together. Together, we can help your business grow. Together, we can move communities forward while giving back. Together, we can help your family spend more time on what matters most. And together, we can achieve more than ever before.
Marcello Mastroianni fooling around over there by our sideline reporter Andrew Hillsman. What is he? Is that looks like a Ribby Rizzy, another famous thing from our concession here at Alumni Field. Also, tire roll competition from the kids that get to be on the field and compete with fellow kids. Andrew Hillsman, I hope you're enjoying that. Ribby Rizzy, that's exactly what that is. It's a Ribby Rizzy. Marcello Mastroianni loves his Ribby Rizzies. He got one in between games. Looks like he got one for our silent reporter, Andrew Hills.
Now, I'm unfamiliar. What exactly is a Ribby Rizzy?
You know what? It's an Oreo shake. It's like a mixture of, what's the ones you flip over?
The Dairy Queen.
The
yeah,
Dairy Queen.
Blizzard.
It's like a Blizzard looking thing, but it's not. It's also
a little softer.
It's like it's more of like a snow. It's like ice cream.
You just gotta experience.
Yeah, you gotta
it.
experience.
It sounds
You gotta
like.
experience it.
I'll have
Come
to
on
grab
down.
one of those for the bus ride home.
Come on down for to Alumni Field, especially when it was hot earlier this week. Ooh, those must have hit the spot.
I'm
I've
sure
actually
they
never
were
had
flying
one.
off the shelves.
I've never had one.
Wow.
Yeah, something big around here. The Ribby Rizzies. Come on down and try them at Alumni Field. But here comes Jack Herring to the plate here in the bottom of the 3rd. SwampBats with a 1-0 lead as he breaks his bat, shatters as it's grounded to short, making the plays to go to. He fires the first in time, and a great stretch by LaRose for the first out.
Wow, and how about that bat exploding that time as the barrel sticks right in front of the pitcher's mound as the throw is made to first. Cole Richardson just kind of briskly walked off of the mound, retrieved that, and threw it off the field as catcher Brandon Duran had to grab another piece. Really hard swing that time. I mean, it takes some serious power to just pop a bat like that.
Yeah, Herring shattered that. That's got to be hard to track the ball off the bat when something like that happens. The bat just shattered in multiple pieces there.
Brandon Degody, though, was a defensive star for the Waves in Game 1. Reliable as always at short, was able to track the ball through some debris there and make the throw on first.
That's right, a lot of plays. It looks like he's especially working to his left in the middle infields, especially over the second base bag. He makes a lot of plays make easy over there.
Yeah, and I think the Waves, knowing that that's his strong suit, they allow Sam Seidel to play a little bit more over towards first base and provide a little more assistance in right field. And as you said, really allow Degody to range out to his left where he's been so strong.
Richardson ahead, the 0-2. That fastball misses in the dirt. Just about hit his 60 pitch mark as he just did with that one when he missed in the dirt. We're only here in the third inning.
I think the Waves would be very happy, though, if he can give him 3 in this contest, as that would represent about half of the game.
1-2. Check swing. Did he go? He did, but the ball gets way behind Duran behind the plate, and Perez will reach first safely on the strikeout. So a drop third strike as Perez is on for the first base runner of this inning.
Yeah, that's got to be a little bit of a frustrating one for Brandon Duran. Didn't know if he had gone or not, if there was a little bit of a foul tip. He kind of turned around to check with the umpire what the call was. When the umpire informed him of the call, he realized, oh shoot, I got to grab this ball, and then not enough time to find it and get it over to first.
Now, as a catcher, I mean, I know it's a tough scenario when you don't get a lot of check swings on drop third strikes, but you just have to go after that ball no matter what in that situation to see if the call, after you make the play on the ball, see if the call stood as you thought it was. Tupo in now. He takes the first pitch for a ball. Tupo flew out last time up. That one's on the inside corner for a strike. Still only one away. As Richardson's only an inning and 2 innings and a third, as that one's grounded to the right side. That's going to get through for a base hit. Heading over to second and rounding it is Perez. He'll stay there, and it's a 1-out knock. And the SwampBats have 2 on now with 1 away.
So we'll see how important now that drop third strike becomes. Could have been 2 outs, nobody on for Tupo, but instead now runners at first and second with 1 away as Ripken Reese is going to take the plate. We already saw him show off the long ball back in Game 1, 358 over to right field. If he could do that again here, it would really break this game open.
SwampBats already with a 1-run lead. Perez off of first, Tupo off of first, and Perez off of second. Some extra insurance here early could be huge, especially with a game to get a quick mound visit.
And Richardson still just having a little bit of problems finding the zone. Duran trying to make sure they're on the same page for the rest of this at bat. Richardson's allowed his fair share of base runners, but hasn't allowed the SwampBats to do too much damage so far. If he can get this one out of the inning with the Waves still trailing 1-0, they would still be in a great spot moving forward.
Waves bullpen's still quiet. 1-1 fouled away. And I'm sure it doesn't help that the SwampBats hitters are just being pesky at the plate. They're fouling off close pitches. They're ramping up that pitch count. When you're a pitcher, that's very frustrating.
Yeah, it is hard to go against such a disciplined team, and you know, you're hitting the strike zone constantly. Those pitches are just getting swatted away with foul balls, and then every time you miss the zone, they have the discipline to not swing the bat.
As that 1-2 misses inside, that'll even the count. Reese walked his last time. He had a great at-bat as we speak of those. Had 8 pitches in his first plate appearance as that one misses off the plate. He has his second straight full count in this game.
Huge pitch here for Cole Richardson, as setting up a bases loaded situation with 1 out really puts him up against it. A strikeout here would be massive.
Now there's some movement in the Waves bullpen. The 3-2 off the outside corner and ball 4, and the bases will be loaded only with 1 away. So the drop third strike only with 1 out. And when you feel like you had that strikeout as a pitcher, you're like 2 out, nobody on, innings going very well. Instead, the ball gets to the backstop. You have another base runner with still only 1 out. A few batters later, the bases are loaded.
Yeah, it's a really tough one for Richardson, especially on a game where there was a bit of a rocky start. The manager, Jalen Borders, is out on the mound here. We'll see if they go for a substitution, with the Waves only recently getting somebody up in the bullpen, as it looks like Northeastern's Max Marchetti is getting ready. Borders is going to keep his man in, probably just letting Richardson know, this is your last inning, give me the best you got, get us out of this spot.
Yeah, just hitting 70 pitches with that last walk. Still only in a third, like we mentioned earlier, 2 1/3 innings under his belt. Still with all these runners on base, looking to get out of it.
Yeah, Richardson is used to being a pretty high leverage guy, going multiple innings, but 71, about to be 72 pitches for the righty. Fatigue starting to set in, both mentally and physically.
That's right, as Manolfi takes the first pitch outside for a ball, so another ball. The corners are up, middle infield playing back, looking for the double play. As that pitch is taken high.
Duran faked the throw, caused a little bit of confusion from Manolfi in the batter's box.
More of the confusion was the late strike call by Aaron Brown. He called that one on top of the zone, catching in the corner. So that would even the count at 1. Driven to right, that's gonna fall for a base hit. 1 run's in. Here comes Ripken Reese. Tupo is in to score as that throw's cut off, and here comes Ripken Reese as well. Bases clearing double for Ty Manolfi. It's 4-0.
So as we look back on this inning, the drop third strike changes everything, perhaps for the rest of this game. Would have been 2 outs, nobody on for the Waves. Instead, just a couple pitch later, the bases are loaded, and then Ty Manolfi coming up huge right there, finding the perfect spot over in right field, taking Garrity all the way to the back corner and clearing the bases for the SwampBats.
So it looks like it'll be a call to the bullpen as they're going to bring in the southpaw. Cole Richardson's day is done. In 2 innings and a third, he lets up 4 runs. We'll be right back after this pitching change. After a bases clearing double for the SwampBats, a pitching change as Max Marchetti heads on the mound for the Waves now.
Yeah, and it's a Rhode Island native in Marchetti heading to the plate out of Cranston. Plays his baseball over at Northeastern. This is his 5th appearance on the season. He's only pitched 1 inning every time that he's appeared in a game thus far, but he's yet to surrender an earned run and has struck out 7 batters. So Marchetti at least hoping to get out of this inning for the Waves. He'll need 2 outs, and there is going to be a runner over at second base.
That's right. With only an inning under his belt, he's faced north of 3 batters in every one of those innings, so he's yet to sit down aside. And this time he only has sit down 2, and we'll see, because another runner in scoring position that he's inherited could be so tough coming out of that bullpen.
Yeah, he came pretty close to sitting down aside in his second appearance of the year against Mystic, probably the best we've seen from him. Struck out 3 batters, but he hit one of them with a pitch, so he faced 4, struck out 3 in that one. Really difficult guy to hit off of. Of course, the lefty gives him some favorable matchups in the lineup. He's got some solid velocity, and I expect him to try and attack the batters early in this appearance.
Well, the left-handers looking forward to face still the bottom of the lineup coming up is Nick Romano and Zach Thompson still have to hit in this inning, unless Nick Romano hits into some sort of wonky double play with Tom Manolfi at second base. He'll start over there, and what a at-bat he put up. I mean, with how Cole Richardson was falling behind the hitters, things like that. When you're a hitter like that, all you have to do is look for your pitch, and he got the high fastball, and was able to stay back enough on it to turn and drive it down the right field line.
Yeah, really just a perfect piece of hitting. Put that ball in the ideal spot. If you're not sending it over the fence, you want it right on that foul line, and you want it to carry way back towards the wall. Garrity was a little further out towards center. Took him a while to get over and grab that ball. 3 runs come across as a result for Keene.
First pitch off the inside corner for ball 1. Northeastern University native, also like you said, from Cranston, Rhode Island. Nothing like playing in the same area of where you're from.
Yeah, it makes things really simple.
Manolfi goes, the throw to third is in time. Durand able to cut down Manolfi, as Manolfi's not happy with that one, but he'll be heading back to the dugout eventually after he pleads his case. Call was not going to be overturned, however. Strut back over to the dugout, but he did just get a bases clearing double, so you have some
take what you can get.
Take what you can get, exactly.
And it seemed like on that one, he was a little bit more upset with the call than the SwampBats third base coach, so you would think the umpire probably got things right there.
Yeah. As Romano takes another pitch for a ball. That's right, over at third base is Aaron Brown, who did have a pretty solid game behind the plate in game 1 of the doubleheader. So now him at third base making that call. Looks like the throw did beat Manolfi, as Romano with the 4-pitch walk to start this inning.
Yeah, and just goes to show you how big that play was from Brandon Durand. Marchetti would have been in a pretty rough spot here, having just entered the game, having first and second with 1 out, but instead 2 away, runner at first. He's just got to focus on Thompson at the plate here and try and get himself out of this inning.
So Romano leading off of first. Thompson steps in, but looks like Durand calling time once again. It'll be another mound visit. Does Durand do this a lot throughout the season, or he just takes a trip up to the mound?
Yeah, Durand's a pretty vocal guy. He's really one of the leaders with this Waves team. He's got a pretty strong relationship with a lot of these pitchers, but we've seen it from Durand and Brinker. I think they're encouraged by the coaching staff. You know, if you notice something, don't hold your tongue and wait for a mistake to be made. Go up there, address it, settle things down, get back to the 8th inning.
Now he's making his signs. Looks like that was just communication on signs. As the first pitch to Thompson is low for ball 1.
That is another thing that I've heard a couple Waves pitchers discuss. Carson Johnson got in the game last night out of the pen. He was saying there was just kind of an awkward shadow coming down. Couldn't quite make out what fingers were being thrown. Hard to decipher pitch calls when that's the case.
1-0. In there for a called strike. Count even at 1. Romano leads off of first base. SwampBats with the 4-run lead with 2 outs. The 1-1. Fouled down the third base line into the dugout. This would be a big bounce-back win for the SwampBats after suffering their first losing streak of the season as well, losing 2 games in a row after suffering to North Adams. Swung on and missed by Thompson, and that will end the inning. But the SwampBats able to add 3 after a Tom Manolfi bases clearing double. You're watching the NECBL in Keene.
SwampBat fans, tonight's Brushing the Bases is brought to you by Spoonwood Dental. Let's give Libby and Erickson a big hand. Like a nice set of teeth, bases need to be thoroughly brushed at least twice a day. Thanks to Spoonwood Dental, Libby brushes every day to keep his big smile looking great for all of his pictures. Just like Libby, make sure to visit Spoonwood Dental for all your dental needs. Looking for a home-run meal? Inside the state restaurant bar is downtown Keene. Where the look for state-of-the-art food classics. For a bold chef-driven creation. Out of the box. Join us for frequent family dinners, date night, elevated weekend brunch. The state will fill your plate.
Back at Alumni Field for the top of the 4th inning. I'm Dan Shea. Thank you to my broadcast partner, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was on play-by-play duties for the first 3 innings. He'll return to the play-by-play role for the 7th, but here for innings 4 through 6, I'm going to be on the call as it's the same pitcher on the mound for the SwampBats. Peters getting ready for his 4th inning of work. He's looked pretty solid so far.
Oh yeah, 8 batters retired in a row for him. Only allowed that 1 lone base runner. Only 2 base runners actually so far with Hackett actually. So it wasn't 8 straight base runners retired, but Hackett, you know, coming up to the plate now. But Garrity actually with the hit in the first inning. Since then, he's been a shutdown.
Yeah,
he has stuff. He's getting ahead of hitters. He's doing a great job out there.
He's essentially retired every batter. Sam Seidel did reach on an error, but that was a very routine ground ball over to second base, so no fault of Peters there. Only 1 hit allowed through this one, and now with a 4-run cushion, if he can keep this up for a couple more innings, it's going to be really difficult for the Waves to get back in this one. They need to get some hits off him, or at least drive up the pitch count in this inning to try and get a new arm on the mound. Hackett takes a big swing at that first pitch for strike 1.
Now, when you're behind this many runs, that's the last thing you want to see out of your hitters. It is the 3-hole hitter, so there's some pop there. But you want to just pass the baton here when you're down by this amount of runs.
Yeah, I mean, in a 4-run game, you're not going to get them all back at once. You got to just take it AB by AB, pitch by pitch. Just try to get on base, try to stack base runners and get guys across. Big swing there, though, I would say warranted from Justin Hackett, who's hit 4 home runs in his last 3 games.
Oh yeah, someone who can put the ball over the fence, especially at a ballpark like this, with Alumni Field, where that center field is so shallow. The ball can go over at any moment. I mean, this is one of the most shallow ballparks in the league.
Yeah, for a lefty at the plate in Hackett, a righty rather, if he can kind of turn it to that left side, that's where you want to go. But that pitch takes him down to a knee for strike 3. So really just starting where he left off for Peters. Another retired batter, another strikeout.
Center fielder from Bristol, Connecticut.
He went back to his stuff right there. His speed's starting to slow down, but was able to get into, make him chase actually there with the breaking ball, and did a great job of doing so for the first out.
Brings up the cleanup man for the Ocean State Waves. It's Gavin Greger. Started both games in center field, batted 4th in the order both times. Went 1 for 3 last time out, had a big 2 RBI single in the first inning that really got things started for the Waves. They were able to ride that momentum throughout most of the game. So there's going to be a little time called here by Kyle Peters.
Yeah, this is when Peters really got into his groove, when he faced Greger his last time up. Retired him on 3 pitches with the swinging strikeout. Did a great job of doing so, but before that, Hackett flew out to center. This is when he started getting into his motion. When he retired the middle of the order like he did, it just makes you feel very confident that you know that you can get through these hitters.
And That one, a great pitch down low, gets a swing and miss out of Hackett, and a real sign that has shown the efficiency from Peters so far. Cole Richardson was at about 75 pitches, only going 2 1/3. Here's Kyle Peters at the top of the 4th, about to throw his 40th pitch.
Did a great job there spoiling that one, staying in this at bat. That's exactly what you want to do, bouncing off of what you said, Dan, with the low pitch count at this point of the game. Kyle Peters has a few more innings left in the NECBL, not a lot of innings thrown by the starters, but has a lot more pitches left in the tank with the leash that he's on.
Here's the 0-2 for Gregor, swung on and missed. So Peters looking great up there, has struck out both batters he's seen in this inning. He's going to get Jack LaRose as he looks to retire the Waves in order in the 4th.
Yeah, as LaRose was heading towards the plate, you saw Gregor just shake his head at him. Usually you see some communication as you walk back to the dugout. That time, he just looked at LaRose and just shook his head and put his head down.
I would say that could be a sign of Peters' dominance on the mound, or perhaps just Gregor's frustration with that at-bat, knowing I swung at some pitches I shouldn't have. There was a couple balls in the dirt that drew swinging strikes on that one, but fire strike one into LaRose. Peters has done a great job of getting ahead in counts, and that hasn't changed.
And especially on that strikeout pitch to Gregor in that previous at-bat, it was a curveball that was in the dirt. He just did well, not too much in the dirt, but it was a low curveball and really just created that spin on him.
That one gets away as it's going to be taken for ball 1. Jack LaRose behind in the count, 1-2, trying to get on board for the Waves here, as they have not had a base runner since Sam Seidel reached on that error in the 3rd inning. They've not had an earned base runner since Ryan Garrity's single on the 2nd at-bat of the game for the Waves. And a tough take that time by Jack LaRose on the off-speed pitch. That one was really close. Looking at our little diagram here, it was right on that corner, really a 50-50 call. Two-two. That one's going to go over the catcher to the backstop. So some good fight from Jack LaRose. This is what you want to see going forward if you're the Waves. Even if you're not getting on base, show some fight up there. Take some pitches, foul something off, drive that pitch count up for Peters, because the Waves got to try to get him out of this game the way he's pitching right now.
That's right. He's taken such close pitches, which has been helpful. Knowing where the strike's going in and where the ground behind the plate is calling those strikes, you can find out.
LaRose gets a nice piece of that one. It's going to be fouled, so he keeps the at-bat alive. He'll get ready for another 3-2 pitch.
Not only getting the feel of the strikes, but also fouling these close pitches away. Even though that one might have been a hittable pitch, he's just getting the pitch that he wants.
Peters once again with the payoff pitch. That one just outside. A really nice take from Jack LaRose, showing some great discipline at the plate, able to get the Waves their first base runner in a little while. He's aboard with a 2-out walk.
Yeah, Peters thought he was going to have himself a strikeout side inning, but after a great plate appearance by LaRose, he's able to just work the walk and continue with 2 outs.
And this is where you could potentially see things turn really quickly. Across the 2 games, Brandon Duran hasn't looked great at the plate, but he's a guy who's got some serious power as the throw comes back into first. LaRose had a healthy lead, but he's able to get back in that time. As I was saying with Brandon Duran, though, struggling to see the ball a little bit right now, but man, when he makes contact, he had a home run to center field over at Joe Wolf Field in North Adams earlier this year. 430 feet, 105 off the bat. He's got serious pop. And a long ball here would be exactly what the Waves need to get back in this game, as he's gotten himself ahead in this count early, 2 up.
That's right. Taking close pitches, that's what matters most right now, especially with a breaking ball like that. You see it start breaking off the plate like he did, it's huge. You spit on it, now the pitch count's rising.
Hardy swing that time. He gets a piece and fouls that one off for strike 1.
I mentioned earlier in this inning, when Kyle Peters was just reaching 40 pitches, retiring his first batter. Now at 50, and is running into some trouble.
Yeah, the Waves starting to put Peters at a bit more of a manageable pace, as he's gonna fire that one upstairs. You would imagine if he can get out of this, he would stay in for the 5th, regardless of how high the pitch count ends up getting here, but certainly will make things interesting moving forward as fatigue could start to set in. Duran, great job there, fouling off another one. Full count now for Brandon Duran. Back-to-back batters where the Waves have been able to work the count full after a couple of quick outs to start the inning.
Yeah, fight, fight, fight. That's what these guys are doing right now, just staying in the at-bat. We've seen it by the SwampBats, now they're starting to counter with it.
Payoff pitch. Duran chops it over to third. Play is made. Throw on is going to be in time, so the Waves get a little two-out rally, but it's snuffed out by the SwampBats. They lead this one 4-0 heading into the bottom of the fourth. Back here at Alumni Field in Keene, New Hampshire. Fans having a good time here on game 2 of this doubleheader. Always easier to enjoy the game when the home team's ahead.
That's right, especially always easier to enjoy the game when the temperatures like this. I mean, when you're sitting low 70s, it's going to get probably into the high 60s if this game goes on. That's so nice and a relief. It's a breath of fresh air at this point after the week we've had here. You know, you drenched in sweat. We mentioned it early on in the previous broadcast of game 1, where it's nothing like calling a game or playing the game when you're just drenched in sweat. This time, players and us up here were able to call this one with ease.
Always makes things a little tougher. Everybody likes being at the ballpark, but
yeah,
when it's 95 degrees, you want to be there a little bit less.
Yeah, now, you know, the fans are able to settle in here and get the ribby rizzy, as they're saying. You know,
course,
our fries are
cool
also
down.
Our fries are a big seller here as well. I know you've had a couple of them. What do you think so far?
Just helped myself to one. Tastes fantastic. First man at the plate in this inning for Max Marchetti is going to be the third baseman, Nick Romano. Excuse me, this is actually the shortstop, Andrew Bell. Bell struck out his first time up in the second inning. Early, this count is even at 1-1. Marchetti's done a little better job of finding the zone than Cole Richardson did, though it's been a much smaller sample size as he's only faced 2 batters thus far.
And we mentioned during the break, he's going to have to go for a little while here with how thin the bullpen is for this team.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit during game 1, but very interesting strategically for the Waves in this doubleheader. Being the away team, there's only so many pitchers that traveled, and knowing that there was only so many spots on the bus, the Waves brought Connor Grotjohan, tonight's DH, actually a 2-way player. He was listed as an emergency pitcher along with Marchetti. Marchetti's found his way onto the mound. Grotjohan, after taking an at-bat already in this one, could potentially join him. We'll see how that plays out.
We'll definitely have to see that if they sacrifice the designated hitter spot.
And a great pitch that time from Marchetti. Gets strike 3. Swing and a miss from Bell, and Marchetti makes it back-to-back strikeouts going back to last inning.
Yeah, got him with the high and outside 80-mile-per-hour fastball. That's nothing you like to see, but you know, right on the outside corner, great pitch. But as I mentioned, with their bullpen, Grotjohan, you might have to sacrifice that designated hitter spot with him coming into this game. But what you really need to see here is Marchetti deliver that longevity now.
Certainly.
As a reliever, you don't expect to cover a lot of innings, but this time they're going to definitely.
they would at least hope that he can get through this one, and it would represent his longest outing of the season at 1 1/3 innings pitched. But we'll see if they try to keep him out there for the 5th, should he get there. That pitch is going to be taken looking for strike 2, so Marchetti doing a good job of finding the zone and getting ahead early in these counts.
Yeah, here's Michael O'Brien, someone whose batting average was up way high, up at 400 just a week ago. Now sitting in mid-300s, but still qualifying for one of the league leaders in batting average.
Yeah, O'Brien's looked good throughout the season, but he struggled a little bit against this Wave staff. He went 0 for 3 in game 1, drew a walk and stole a base back in the first inning of this one, and then grounded out in the second. So he's 0 for 4 with a walk between these 2 games. We'll see if he can grab his first knock of the day here.
Yeah, it's been the past few games.
And that one's pretty well hit. It's going to send the shortstop Goody back. Routine play, and he will make the catch as his left fielder, Kale Paisano, came flying in, sacrificing the hat and glasses. Be able to be a little bit closer should Goody need him, but he's all set to make the play himself.
Yeah, so another out recorded for O'Brien. Just a tough go at the plate of the past couple of days, but as I mentioned, he went through a hot streak. Baseball comes with the highs and the lows. It's a roller coaster. You're just going to have to ride the high as long as you can.
And it's important for the Waves that Marchetti's moving through this inning quickly right now, as we touched on the bullpen situation earlier. That strike 1 is just his 18th pitch so far, so certainly could see him get another inning of work should he be able to put away Herring here.
Yeah, he ramped that one up to 89 miles per hour, so he's been having his changeup work for him as well.
Goes with the off speed that time, can't find the zone. Count is even at 1-1. Jack Herring 0 for 2 so far on the day. Struck out in the first, grounded out in the third. He went 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch in game 1. So the top of the SwampBats order struggling just a bit throughout the day. Takes that one down low for ball 2. As you can see, a little bit of frustration for Marchetti on the mound there. Seems like he might have missed his pitch on that one.
Yeah, that's a big difference when you fall behind 2-1 instead of 1-2, especially now with 20 pitches already under his belt. He has to get through this game.
And that one hit pretty well over to right field. It's going to get down in front of Marchetti's teammate Ryan Garrity, who tried to fire one into first base. Got a little bit over aggressive there, as it's going to go all the way back to the SwampBats dugout, and it's going to award Herring second base. So that's going to be a single with a throwing error by the right fielder Garrity, and now all of a sudden Marchetti in a much different spot than he was 1 pitch ago.
So I'm going to say I agree with the call here for Garrity from right field. He had a chance to throw out Herring at first base, with Herring taking a slow trip around first, and he wasn't there yet. He was already just in his arc, but the throw was very strong. And if he just got that a little lower, maybe he recorded without, but a little trying too hard there. I mean, and just sailing that throw and cost the extra base.
Yeah, good intentions on that one from Ryan Garrity, but just put a little too much into the throw. This one's going to be popped up. Garrity's going to stay busy over there in right field, and he's going to redeem himself, making that play in foul territory. So, hey, Ryan, no harm, no foul. You give up second base, but you get out number 3. The Waves will take it as they move into the 5th inning, trailing 4-0.
Attention all kids 14 and under. If you would like to take part in the Dash in the Grass and try to beat Brett the intern, head on over to the grade 10 maps.
Because I got stuff in my shoe.
Smiling it off.
He was. He's the main like jokester of the team. He's always the guy like getting up on the bus, screaming expletives and leading them off. Back here at Alumni Field, as many fans out here enjoying the game. This was the originally scheduled game. This one got changed into a doubleheader after a couple of cancellations early in the season for the Waves changed up the scheduling just a bit, so there was less fans at game 1 as it wasn't originally expected, and starting off during the workday for some people with 4:30 first pitch. But now the night game under the lights, fans coming out, and so far they're enjoying a good game from their home team.
That's right. Give me your honest opinion here. As no, what's really cool is actually how Jack Herring also is in right field warming up with the fan. That fan feels pretty good. But give me your honest opinion here. What do you feel? I don't know if you mentioned this last broadcast, but how do you feel about the yellow uniforms?
The yellow uniforms, your broadcast partner, Andrew Hillsman, referred to them as the SpongeBob uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. If I was on the team and I was told we're wearing SpongeBob uniforms, I'm not exactly sure how I would take that, but they look pretty nice. They actually work. If you describe them to me without seeing them, I would think maybe the yellow, purple, gray wouldn't mesh so well, but they make it work.
Yeah. The whole point of it is it's actually called the weekend uniforms. It's not actually the SpongeBob uniforms. I think the purple spots make it look like, SpongeBob holes, but no, it's the weekend uniforms, and the big purpose of it as the board of the SwampBats, decided something different. When you're heading into the weekend, you're like, wow, this is the weekend, okay? And, it's the opposite side of the color wheel as purple, which is yellow.
Yep.
So you want something to pop, and there it is. Yellow.
Paisano, speaking of pop, is going to send that one high into the air on the infield. It's going to be taken in pretty easily by the shortstop, Andrew Bell, for out number 1. And so that's going to bring up Connor Grotjohan, the man who we discussed could possibly make an appearance on the mound later in this one. Two-way player for the Waves so far on this season. He's got 4 1/3 innings pitched with 16 at-bats. See what he can do here. Big swing on that first pitch for strike 1. And going back to the jersey conversation, the idea of an alternate, I feel like it's always a pick-me-up for the team. Look good, feel good, play good, that kind of thing.
They also have these hats that are yellow, but they haven't worn them yet.
Grotjohan rips that one down the line. A great piece of hitting. That could be good for extra bases. He's going to round first, heading for second. Here comes the throw. It is in time. So Connor Grotjohan gets thrown out, trying to stretch a single into a double. And I think his 6'5" frame might have came back to bite him a little bit there.
Well, that's just a heck of a throw out in the left by usual first baseman Perez, but he did a great job coming in on this one towards the line. Your momentum's bringing you to your right, but he did a great job getting behind the ball and delivering such a strong throw to Ripken Reese, which just applied the tag there. A spectacular play in left by Perez, and just like that, a base runner's down.
Yeah, it was a really close play, but Connor Grotjohan, who stands at 6'5", 230 pounds, that's going to hinder your speed a little bit getting along the base pass, and in that instance, I think it just created for kind of an awkward slide. I think he came off the bag a little bit, and that's what resulted in the out. A tough one for the Waves, but that's going to bring Sam Seidel, the double leadoff man, to the plate with 2 away here. Still facing tonight's starter, Kyle Peters, who's been moving pretty well through this lineup. Going to finish off his 5th inning of work, just north of 60 pitches on the night.
And we talked about how Kyle Peters on the opposing side, has done a great job, but his pitch count is getting up there now, hitting the 60 mark. We're still in the 5th, and James Lordeye also getting ready in the bullpen, the left-hander for the SwampBats. So we'll see how much of a leash Kyle Peters has left.
You'd imagine they'd be happy with getting 5 innings out of him, but still got 1 more out to go, as that one's going to be fired down low for Sam Seidel. Seidel still trying to figure things out at the plate a little bit. Did reach his first time around in this game thanks to an error from Ripken Reese, but in game 1, batted in the same spot in the lineup, went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And he's going to strike out this time. The 3rd strike is dropped, but the throw is made to first base, and it's another simple inning for Kyle Peters as he put the Waves away in order. Keene leads this one 4-0, heading to the bottom of the 5th.
What makes a great team hat? it starts with a Z. For decades, Zephyr has been making the most iconic headwear in the game, trusted by teams, colleges, and pros. We cut out the middlemen and work directly with our manufacturers, so you get top quality, fast turnaround, and prices that make sense. From bold designs to unbeatable fit, Zephyr hats are built to match the quality of your team, right down to the last stitch. Zephyr Team Headwear, born from experience, built for teams that stand out.
Activities in the outfield wrapping up for some young fans here in Keene. Saw a stampede of them coming through as the fans are excited to get to hop on the field. Why not? Why not, right? It's a new pitcher on the mound for the Waves. Seen warming up there, number 26, Caleb Hughes. He's teammates of today's starter, Cole Richardson, playing his ball at Southern Miss. This is Hughes' 5th appearance on the season. He's got 7 1/3 innings pitched so far. The ERA is 8.59 with 8 strikeouts. He had a little bit of a rough outing last time out against the Vineyard, but he's looked pretty solid throughout the year, and the Waves are going to need him to go through a bit of this game, as I believe they only have one other option at pitcher should he have to come out, and that would be Connor Grote-Johann, who's DHing in this lineup.
And as an opposing dugout like the SwampBats, knowing that the arms are getting used, they took advantage of that just last week when they were playing the Vermont Mountaineers. The Vermont Mountaineers had to bring in their center fielder to throw because they were just flat out of pitchers, and that enabled the SwampBats to just run away with the game. They brought in a player that hit a game-tying grand slam and made it 11-11 ball game, and then he had to pitch the next inning.
Oh my gosh, and this ball gets crushed, but it's going to be right there for Kale Paisano, who will make the play in left field. So that's definitely how you want things to start for the Waves. 1 pitch and 1 out for Caleb Hughes.
Yeah, he's going to have to go the long haul here. I mean, the long haul is not much left in the 7-inning ballgame. We don't know because he can go to extras. But Caleb Hughes has to deliver that longevity now. We've seen him with only 7 1/3 innings. You mentioned that big ERA sitting at 8.59, but it really came from the outing against the Bristol Blues, where he allowed 5 earned runs in that outing. Since then, only 2 earned runs in another 2 outings. So he's done a great job of corralling that in and just trying to lower that ERA slowly but surely. But he also does have great strikeout stuff. 7 strikeouts in the 7th and 3rd.
Yeah, that game against the Blues was a tough one for pretty much everybody on the Waves. That was their first real lopsided loss of the year, falling in that one. 12-4. Richardson got the start in that one. It was a tough outing for him as well. This one's going to come in, and they're going to say that hit the batter on his foot. I didn't get a great view of that one. I thought it bounced off home plate initially, but the umpire will award first base. And now for Caleb Hughes, he has a base runner to contend with.
Yeah, Ripken Reese, a ball magnet today, huh? I mean, he fouled it off his shin or leg in his first plate appearance, and this time wears it off of his, I think it was his back foot that it hit him on. That can't feel good. Now you got each of your legs both shaken up.
A little banged up. We'll see if he has to round the bases again, as last time he fouled that pitch off himself. We saw him gingerly rounding third and coming home to score. I wouldn't imagine he's too much of a threat to steal second here, but
I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't put money on it.
Not necessarily, yes. Manolfi's at the plate. He takes that one for strike 2. So Hughes ahead in this count early. Love to work through this inning quickly, as it's probably going to be a pretty busy night for the righty out of Southern Miss.
And 3 plate appearance for Ripken Reese. 3 straight getting on base without a hit.
And a big pitch that time from Caleb Hughes. He gets strike 3 looking with the off speed. 83 miles an hour on that pitch, and nearly 1.5 feet of horizontal break, 17.5 inches. Serious movement there. That's just a nasty pitch from Caleb.
It looks like it dotted the corner as well. He did a great job locating that pitch. And 3 pitches, and go grab some Benjamin. Hopefully we now sent him back. Trying to make it a quick inning here with 2 gone.
That should give Hughes serious confidence moving forward in this inning, as it shows right there. He fires a first pitch strike with the fastball at 89 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah. He's living on the bottom of the zone now. He's liking it there. He's getting his calls.
Goes back to the bottom of the zone, but a little too low that time for ball one. I would say if Hughes could get out of this inning about 15 pitches or less, he would be right where he wants to be to potentially pitch the rest of this contest for the Waves. Runner takes off for second. Duran comes up and throws, hops past the glove of Degody. So right there, Ripken Reese proving us wrong as he takes off for second and comes up successful with the stolen base.
I said don't put money on it. He goes ahead and steals second. Thanks a lot, Ripken. But yeah, did a great job stealing the bag, catching them on their toes, catching them on their heels there, and was able to take that with ease. Would have beat the throw, even though it did get away. And a great job in center field by Gregor, backing that throw up.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, the Waves might have been a little bit of the same mentality that we were, seeing him put another ball off himself, kind of like lumber over to first base, not taking a huge lead initially. They were probably thinking, we don't have to worry about this guy too much. That ball is well hit over towards shallow center. Ryan Garrity comes in and he drops it. So a big mistake that time for the Waves. Ryan Garrity thought that he had out number 3, but it goes off his glove, and Ripken Reese scores from second base. Wow. On a very rarely seen error. I think on that one, Garrity got himself under it. He just took his eye off the ball for a second. That's something you're taught from a young age not to do.
Yeah.
And it just gets away from him that time, maybe closing the glove just a little bit too early. That's a really frustrating one for the Waves, as it looked like Hughes was going to be able to get out of this inning quickly and unscathed.
That's one of those routine plays where you're just coming in and thinking it's going to be an easy one. You start to get a little too lackadaisical over in right field, and he just took his eye off it, as you said.
That one, a jam shot towards Seidel. He will make the play for out number 3, but on some wacky defensive plays from the Waves, the SwampBats are able to get another one across, and they lead it 5-0 heading into the 6th.
Tonight's Sweeping the Bases is proudly brought to you by the people at Dream Clean 123, the Greater Monadnock region's premier cleaning services. Just like your house, a baseball field can always use a good cleaning. Let's hear it for Kendra and Erickson as they make sure SwampBat baseball is always played on a clean field.
Top of the 6th, and before we return to the action, just a quick message from our sideline reporter, Andrew Hillsman.
Well, yeah, thanks, guys. Well, it's coming close to a milestone for SwampBats head coach Sean McKenna. As you see on the left side of your screen, 1 win away from 100 total wins as manager of the Keene SwampBats. And as it's going right now, with Kyle Peters out there on the mound and a 5-0 lead for the Bats as we head to the top of the 6th, especially in a 7-inning game, Sean McKenna, we might be seeing history here tonight. So, guys, back to you for the last couple of innings.
Yeah, so Coach McKenna looking for his 100th win. From your interactions with him, Ryan, what can you tell me about the skipper for the SwampBats?
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I mean, you go and talk to him. He's a great guy, don't get me wrong, but he does have that, facade on him. Like that classic coach that's, very strict on his players and guys around him. He has that facade on, but you get to know him. He's this guy that is easy to talk to and is a great coach overall. And you see it on and off the field that he puts in a lot of work for this team for the past few years and has had success as well. And especially when you're coming off a losing streak like this, as the SwampBats have for this last couple of games, he's still very calm. He's talking to the bus. He lets the guys be themselves. That's the biggest thing with him. He lets these guys joke around still, even when times get tough, and be themselves.
Yeah, so as Coach McKenna looks for his 100th win, it's going to be Brandon Degody at the plate here. He popped that one out foul, but there was no play to be made. Dagodi checking back in for the 1-1. Gets a nice piece of that one on the jam shot. Shortstop ranging over, and it was a tough play to make over at first. Lunging over was Chandler Tupou, but that one goes off of his glove, and Brandon Dagodi is aboard with an infield single.
Yeah, that's also going to be one of those where it's going to be interesting to see how they score it, just because of the hard play that was. You know, first of all, you had Bell working to his left. He's going to have to corral it, fire across the diamond, but also the scoop by Tupou is not easy at all. I mean, that one is a tough play. So if anything, it would be a throwing error on Bell, but still a tough play that where he had to range up way over to his left to make that play.
So Ryan Garrity checks in, certainly looking for some redemption as he gets a great piece of that one. Could be extra bases, hit well. He's going to stop at first. Dagodi comes around to third. So just as I was starting to say it, Ryan Garrity looking for some redemption after his error to end the last inning, and he gets it in the form of a single.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the way to do it right there. Put a runner in scoring position, less than 2 out, nobody out still, and you have a runner at third. So did a great job redeeming himself. And we talked about this guy during the break. He's the type of guy that is very vocal on the bus. He's very passionate about his team, and he's one of those guys that will always have a smile on his face. So this is a good time where he just brushes that error off that cost it a run and puts up a great at-bat right there.
Good for the confidence of Garrity, who leads off first base. Justin Hackett at the plate takes that one upstairs for a ball. And with runners at the corners, certainly the biggest moment of this game so far for the Waves offense. They've got a chance to get some runs going and start to claw their way back into this one as they're down to their final 6 outs, trailing 5-0.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what goes on in that bullpen for the SwampBats, because looks like they are getting Barrichello hot. There's a couple lefties get loose. They had Lordeye going before in the previous inning, but it looks like he sat down. And here comes the skipper onto the mound. It's a quick visit without the infield coming to join him. Looks like just a talk saying, listen, this is another thing about the coach for the SwampBats, Coach Sean McKenna. He's keeping it real up there. He's like, listen, you're going to get this batter or the next batter, and that's going to be it. Show me what you got here, but I'm going to go to the bullpen very soon. Because, the SwampBats do have a very young pitching coach in Stephen Bangs. So he's over sitting there, and Sean McKenna just tell him straight up, we have a guy warming up in the bullpen. Go throw some strikes. You have a lead out there. It's 5-0. So throw strikes, attack the zone, no matter what was just going on.
So McKenna will return. It's still going to be Kyle Peters on the mound, getting his 6th inning of work here, about to throw his 70th pitch on the game. Runner takes off for second, and it seems like that one hit Hackett, so the bases loaded now for the Waves with nobody out. A huge 6th inning starting to unfold, as it's going to be the cleanup man, Gavin Greger, coming to the plate. An opportunity to quickly bring the Waves back into this one, giving them some much-needed offense.
Oh, yeah. So Todd Kanibi on the edge of the bullpen, edge of the dugout right now, is signaling over to the bullpen, asking if they're ready or not. And that's helping the coaching staff, who's on the closer side of the dugout to the field. They're not going to have much communication with them. But they're asking, it's looking like Barrichello is going to be the next guy into the game for the SwampBats. It's just a matter of when he's ready. He recently just got up and started to get hot. But looks like Kyle Peters is definitely on the end of his leash here.
Yeah, Greger took that first pitch looking for strike one. Peters, as you mentioned, at the end of his leash, but you don't want to necessarily put another pitcher into this spot, as it's really tough to get out of bases loaded, nobody out either way. So you go with a guy in Peters who's at least shown you some really good at-bats so far today. Had that big stretch from the 2nd inning till right now where he really didn't allow the Waves to get much of anything going on the base paths.
Oh, yeah. And this is a great outing no matter what for Kyle Peters. You don't see a lot of SwampBats starting pitchers, or in the NECBL in general, pitchers go for the long haul and especially work into the 6th inning.
0-2 to Greger. Hit pretty well. Looks deep enough for Dagodi. Dagodi's going to tag up from third, and he's going to stop himself, as that was a really great throw from the center fielder, Michael O'Brien. The bases will stay loaded for the Waves, but heads-up play that time from Brandon Dugote, because he certainly would have been out at home.
Yeah, and I mentioned that Vermont game as well. There's Michael O'Brien out in the outfield. In the first inning of that Vermont game, in the top of the first, Michael O'Brien ran in on a base hit from left field and gunned down a runner at home. So I don't know if the scouting report's up on him to not run on that arm, because that was an easy call, as that throw was a laser to home plate holding the runner at third.
Very well could be. Caleb McGrath coaching his base runner over at third, having Dugote hold up on that one. And it's going to be strike one taken by LaRose. He did a really nice job his last time out, getting the Waves their first base runner in quite a long time back in the 4th inning, when he drew a walk on really a nice at-bat where he took some tough pitches. 0-1 to LaRose is chopped off. It is worth mentioning, the Waves are still looking for their first grand slam of the year. I mentioned this last night in Danbury with Justin Hackett at the plate. The next pitch was a wild pitch that scored the runner from third, and the pitch after that was a 3-run homer from Hackett. So who knows? Maybe I've got the magic touch, or maybe the Waves will get retired here. It's 0-2 to Jack LaRose with 1 out and the bases loaded. Pitch comes in up high. Good take that time from LaRose to move the count to 1-2.
You know what I'd love on your sake right now, Dan? If there was a wild pitch and all the runners advance and then a home run was hit. So so that, you know, the grand slam doesn't stand, but all the runners score.
I think I would have to get the assist at that point if that's how it played out. But that one is taken looking by Jack LaRose for strike 3. So a huge pitch that time from Kyle Peters, as he's nearly worked his way out of this jam. He had bases loaded, nobody out, now bases loaded, 2 outs. And it's going to come down to Brandon Duran. He's going to need a base hit for the Waves to get out of this inning with something. Otherwise, he's going to need a really lucky break in order to reach and get a run across. Fouls off the first pitch.
Yeah, it looks like Barricchiero in the SwampBats bullpen is stopped warming up and just is ready and waiting at this point, as he's just standing and watching this game with the ball in hand. Looks like he's fully warmed up, so this will be it for Kyle Peters here. See if he can get through this inning.
Kyle Peters has done most of the heavy lifting to get out of this jam. It comes down to Duran, who's going to find the gap. Garrity rounding third, coming home, so the Waves will get 2 runs back there. A massive piece of hitting from Brandon Duran with the bases loaded and 2 outs. The Waves could not afford to leave those runners stranded, and Brandon Duran cuts this lead to 5-2.
A great piece of hitting there. Look at this. Just sits back perfectly. Doesn't get too ahead of himself on the off-speed pitch. And just, even though it wasn't that hard of a hit, has eyes, finds its way through the infield, and 2 RBIs. Just like that. It's a 3-run ball game.
And that's big for Duran. As going back to the last game, he was 0 for 4, but a huge hit there. 2 RBIs, and appears there will be a pitching change here for Keene. We'll send it to a quick break, and when we get back, it'll be first and second with 2 outs for the Waves.
Attention, please. Now pitching the SwampBats from James Madison University, Union, New Jersey. Number 32, J.D. Barricchiero.
Checking back in from the top of the 6th inning here in Keene, game 2 of today's doubleheader. The Waves took the first contest 3-2, able to hold on in that one. Keene has been in control and in the lead the entirety of Game 2. Their lead was 5-0, but a Brandon Duran single just cut into that one. It's 5-2, and there's a new arm on the mound for the SwampBats.
That's right. That single brought in senior from James Madison University and Jaden Barricchiero, who's getting warmed up for a little while in that bullpen. This is this is actually his 6th appearance on the year now. After 5 appearances so far, had 9 2/3 innings pitched this season, and has 6 strikeouts, 4 walks in that time. He was able to get 2 wins under his belt in that, but also that 1 loss just a couple of games ago to the Upper Valley Nighthawks. That was very tough. And late in that game, he came into the late innings when the SwampBats had a lead, and he suffered that one. But you know, a couple games later, he's done some great work, and he faces a lot of batters. Seems like he can't, you know, just bring up 3 and retire them, but does a great job working himself out of jams as well.
So Peters goes 5 2/3. Quite the day for him. Looked very solid throughout the 6th inning. Became a little bit of a struggle, as you'd imagine. He started to get a little bit fatigued on the mound. Maybe the hitters for Ocean State started to pick up on some things that he was doing. And we're gonna have a change here, as it appears that Connor Grotjohan, or I'm sorry, Kale Paisano is gonna come out. Matt Brinker will pinch hit. Matt Brinker, usually a catcher. I would imagine this move is gonna move the catcher, Brandon Duran, into left field, and Brinker will take his spot behind home plate. But for the time being, Matt Brinker looking for a big knock with runners at 1st and 2nd, 2 outs, Waves trailing by 3. Runner goes, both runners go. Wow. And the double steal for the Waves works out, as that pitch was in the dirt. Great heads up base running that time, and now runners at 2nd and 3rd. The opportunity grows even larger here for Brinker.
I mean, that way to catch the SwampBats on their heels there. They had no idea that was about to happen. Picked a great pitch to run on as well with the off-speed in the dirt. And the SwampBats, all they were able to do was just eat it and watch those 2 base runners advance. Now 2 runners in scoring position with 2 out. And a base hit right here could bring the game within 1.
Brinker took that one looking for strike 1. He got the start in Game 1, went 0 for 3 with a trifecta of fly balls. Some of those were very well hit. Brinker just got unlucky with the placement. He fouls that one down the first baseline. Count moves to 1 and 2.
Great job by Brinker there on that foul ball. Even though it looked foul off the bat, you never know with how wicked of the spin was when he got that. He just started sprinting towards first base, even though it was an obvious foul ball. If that ball did keep rolling, especially on the dirt, it could have most definitely went fair.
And Matt Brinker, one of only 5 Ocean State Waves with a home run on this season. A long ball here would tie the game for the Waves and provide quite the moment for the Waves for the rest of this NECBL season, for the rest of Matt Brinker's season. As he now checks in at 2 and 2, 2 out, 2 on.
Also the tying run standing at the plate here. Big for him to get on base.
Brinker chops that one towards short. Coming up and throwing is going to be Andrew Bell, and he makes the play for out number 3. So the SwampBats are ultimately able to get out of the inning, but the Waves get 2 across to make this one interesting. Don't go anywhere. We've got the bottom of the 6th coming up.
What makes a great team hat? It starts with a Z. For decades, Zephyr has been making the most iconic headwear in the game, trusted by teams, colleges, and pros. We cut out the middlemen and work directly with our manufacturers, so you get top quality, fast turnaround, and prices that make sense. From bold designs to unbeatable fit, Zephyr hats are built to match the quality of your team, right down to the last stitch. Zephyr Team Headwear, born from experience, built for teams that stand out.
Returns to the mound for the Ocean State Waves back here for bottom of the 6th action. The Waves got their first runs in this inning. Brandon Duran with a single to drive 2 across has made the ending to this one a little bit more interesting. Waves are down to their final 3 outs, but before they get to take the plate one last time, potentially, it's going to need to be a clean inning here from Caleb Hughes, as giving up any runs would just make the uphill climb even more tough for the Waves.
That's right. You'd have to wonder who they're going to bring out if this game does get out of hand and the Waves take over the game in the top half of the 7th, but that's for the future to decide. Right now, they're just looking for this right-hander to just get through this inning, minimize the pitch count as much as possible, and get that opportunity for the Waves to hit in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, the Waves will cross that bridge when they get there as far as arms and who's available. Connor Grott-Johann is still in the lineup, and he's a guy who could make an appearance on the mound. 2-way player for the Waves, DHing tonight, set to start off the 7th inning. First pitch to the shortstop, Bell, is taken looking for strike 1.
Yeah, Bell, a couple strikeouts already in this ball game in his first 2 at-bats, so he's looking to change the pace here and avoid the hat trick. Bell from Duke. Righty. Those late appearances we mentioned, walk-off hit by pitch, but he's still looking to get it going for the SwampBats. He's looking for that big hit to really start a hot streak at the plate for him. I mean, he's had a lot of ups and downs, as we mentioned, but you know, it's all about that roller coaster. He's looking for that incline for the first time with the bats.
Bell, a little bit of an awkward swing there. They're going to say, I believe that was a strike, so that's going to bring the count to 2-2 here. Hughes working pretty efficiently, and if the Waves can tie this one up, he may have to pitch the 7th. That one's fouled off. Count remains at 2-2.
Some good attendance here at Alumni Field. The total attendance tallied is 1,875 fans in attendance, especially after hot days. It's nice.
Yeah, so that attendance just about tripled from game 1 to game 2. There was about 500 fans here for the opener.
You know, and that is how many fans we had for our 2 games during this week when it was really hot out. So it was definitely limiting our attendance with that heat,
Definitely
that
something that we noticed too at Old Mountain Field. A lot more fans going to the beach instead of the ballpark on a hot day like that. But
so how far are you guys from the beach over there?
I mean, it depends which one. There's beaches all around us. It's called the Ocean State for a reason. Pretty much in any direction you go, there's going to be one nearby. As far as actually near the field, it would be Narragansett Town or Scarborough Beach, which are both about 10 minutes away. Hughes fires that one in there for strike 3. Massive pitch that time, as Bell thought he might have had the walk, but instead Caleb Hughes grabs his 2nd strikeout and a big out number 1.
Yeah, it goes with the off speed there, just freezing Bell on that pitch. And Bell, all he had to do was his 3rd straight trip back to the dugout, grabbing some bench, 3rd strikeout of the ball game.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a tough one for Bell at the plate. That's going to flip over the SwampBats lineup with Michael O'Brien checking in. He's 0-for, going back to the first game of the day. He'll be looking for a big knock here to try and get the SwampBats a little extra insurance. He swings and misses there. Counts even at 1-1.
Michael O'Brien really cares about what he does. He's a very passionate guy when he has the bat in his hands. He gets out, he'll let you know. He wants to do well, and that's why his average is where it's at, because how successful he's been. The guy from Mississippi State had a lot of success there, a lot of fielding highlights from Mississippi State, but he also carries it well with his bat.
Here's the 1-1 from Hughes. That one will find the zone for strike 2. So Caleb Hughes has looked really good since he's entered this game. He's provided some stability for the Waves on the mound. Allowed just that 1 run coming on an error from Garrity, as that one's going to be chopped down the 3rd base line and foul.
That was a hard swing by Michael O'Brien there with 2 strikes. Was really looking to get a hold of that one. Just mishit it.
Hughes looking to put O'Brien away on strikes here. Oh, and that one got ripped down the third baseline and caught a piece of the third base coach. The Waves dugout below us getting vocal and giving him a little bit of encouragement. He shakes it off like an absolute pro.
The SwampBats dugout is definitely letting Coach Mack hear it for sure. You know, it's a group that's close with their coach as well with each other. Like, as I mentioned, Coach Mack letting these guys be themselves. They mess with Coach Mack as much as he sets them straight.
And that one popped into center field. Gavin Greger coming in, and he will make the play for out number 2. Ryan Garrity not eager to get his glove on that one. 2 outs now in the inning for the Waves. Caleb Hughes looking to get out of this one and set Ocean State up for a big 7th inning. First, he's going to have to face Jack Herring.
Jack Herring smoked that single his last time up to right field and also forced a throw from right as Garrity fired it over the first baseman's head.
Herring gets a nice piece of that one. It's going to drift into foul territory, and there won't be a play for Ocean State. Moves the count to 0-1. Jack Herring on the day so far. He struck out in the first, grounded out in the third. In the fourth, he hit a single, but reached second base on a throwing error. Looking to keep this inning alive for the SwampBats. Breaking ball isn't going to hit the zone. It's going to be 1-1, and even if it doesn't turn into runs, if you can just extend this inning, as you know the Waves will be relying heavily on Caleb Hughes, it could have a big impact.
Yeah, and you know, Caleb Hughes already at 30 pitches now in his outing. He's just looking to get out of this game, get his team back to hit, because they're only down by 3 at this point. You got to hold that up, but also you're going to want to have something left in your arm in case
you got to go out there for the 7th.
Exactly.
1-2. That one just misses. 90 miles an hour on the fastball from Hughes, drives the count to 2-2.
Great take there by Jack Hughes. Spit on that pitch just off the zone. Inside.
2-2. Hit pretty well. We'll see if there's a play to be made for Kel Paisano. Yes, there is. Fantastic stretching grab by Paisano. Actually, that was Justin Hackett. Let me give credit to the right guy, as that was a fantastic play. Justin Hackett gets out number 3 for the Waves, and they'll head to the 7th inning, hoping to tie this one up.
Attention everybody, if you have any loose trash that you're looking to throw out, interns will be coming up into the stands with trash bags to get those trash. Keep an eye out for the purple polos and the black trash bags, and if you're there, just move it. Thank you very much. One last look at ticket, ladies and gentlemen. Here we have a $25 discount to you. Magic 5, 8495.
Back at Alumni Field, where Barricaro is set to take the bump for the final 3 outs and looking to put this game away with the SwampBats leading the Ocean State Waves 5-2. I'm Ryan Fitzpatrick here with Dan Shea, and Dan, the SwampBats still with a 3-run lead here after a few innings without scoring a run. Just actually an inning and a half without scoring a run, but now looking to put the game away after some momentum on Ocean State's side in the previous inning.
Yeah, the Waves started to gain some momentum on that last inning, finally able to put a crooked number on the scoreboard, getting 2 runs across on a Brandon Duran single. But for Barricaro, 3 outs is all he needs to get out of this game. He's got 3 runs of insurance. He's going to be facing 8, 9, and 1 in the Waves order with Connor Grotjohan due up. Grotjohan, certainly a guy with a lot of power, had a very well-hit ball down the left field side last time out, but got thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double, so we'll see what he can do to start off this inning.
Yeah, and Barry Carroll still in the bump after getting out of that inning. Did a great job, only facing a batter, but still was able to have his stuff, and now we'll be faced with the 8-9-1 part of the lineup for the Waves as the first pitch misses for the first ball to Grote-Johann.
Connor Grote-Johann, formerly of URI, playing his college ball at Rutgers. He's been a two-way prospect throughout his baseball career. Still trying to find what the right spot may be for him.
Barry Carroll with his ERA on the season under 4, sitting at 3.72, and is here for his second inning of work facing his second batter. As that one's fouled away just above the dugout of the SwampBats, as they'll duck away for that one. Another thing, I mentioned it a little before, how close this SwampBats team is. They get very close, and I talked to Gabe Pitts about it, the outfielder for the SwampBats. He says it starts with being on the bus for road trips. I mean, these guys just love playing games together. You know, they go out, have fun, and they get to know each other in that process.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we've been told from day one, it's what you make of it. The travel schedule in the NECBL with as many games as you have to play in such a quick amount of time, it's not great. Nobody wants to be on a bus for that long, but if you're all there and you're joking around, having fun, you can get through it. If everybody is woe is me, complaining about being there, it's going to feel a lot worse.
Struck him out! Barry Carroll in the top of the 7th, starting it with a K.
Big start to the inning from Barry Carroll as he puts Grote-Johann away with the swinging strike. You can see him smiling after that one. That had to have felt good and certainly puts him in a better spot as he's now just 2 outs away from ending this ball game.
Yeah, you blow anyone away with the fastball, especially inside the strike zone. You know your stuff just overpowered what the hitter had up there. The first pitch, breaking ball in there for a called strike. Just got the outside corner on that one. Did a great job. Barry Carroll has the 90-mile-per-hour fastball, but with that curveball, 79 miles per hour. That one's grounded to the right side. Diving is working to his right. Great job. Bounce picked off by the pitcher and Barry Carroll, and stepping on the bag for the out.
What a play.
Ripken Reese ended up making the play behind the diving Tupou and was able to bounce a throw to Barry Carroll, who was on the bag for the out.
Great defense from the SwampBats all around. You have Tupou with the diving attempt. You've got Ripken Reese backing him up. And then how about the pitcher hustling over to the bag, sliding in, getting a little dirty for out number 2.
It'll go down as a 4-1 ground out. Just like that, the Ocean State Waves are down to their final out. Lineup flips over for Degote as he swings at the first pitch and misses for strike 1. Hitting to an error his last time up, also popped out and grounded out. Still looking for his first hit. Barry Carroll sets. Misses inside with that fastball. That'll even the count at 1. Now the team of the SwampBats looking for a big bounce back win, all on the edge of their seats in that dugout, looking to celebrate. As that's in there for a called strike, goes back with the off speed and hits the low and inside corner.
Waves down to their final strike here, but this is certainly a guy you would want at the plate. Degote's been very solid so far this season, trying to keep this game alive.
Barry Carroll sets. The 1-2. Taken low. Just like that, the count evens, but Barry Carroll still 1 strike away from putting the SwampBats back in the win column. Getting cheered on by his teammates. Barry Carroll sets the 2-2. Misses low and in. A great take right there by Degote.
The young shortstop for the Waves.
Yeah.
Showing some serious cojones on that one.
Oh, yeah. Did a great job. That one just missing. Obviously, the dugout of the SwampBats didn't like it, but here comes Barry Carroll The payoff pitch. Driven to the other right, that's falling fast, but it'll drop for a base hit. The Waves showing some life here down to their final out.
Great fight there from Brandon DeGote. Couple of nice pitches, and this feels a little bit storybook to me. A guy in Ryan Garrity who's had a tough day defensively for the Waves. We saw him make up for that with a really nicely hit single in the 6th inning. I feel like he could be due for some action at the plate here.
Well, here he is. One of the last men standing for the Waves. The first pitch to him off the inside corner. That breaking ball just didn't break enough. The fans, and most importantly the dugout, really anticipating another win here for the SwampBats at home. The 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. I don't know if that was tipped, however. No dead ball was called, but it looks like it was. As another ball will be handed to Barricchio here with the first strike.
Garrity, no stranger to any CBL ball, spent last season with the Navigators. 275 average. He's made a big impact this season for the Waves. Can he keep it up here?
The SwampBats have yet to lose a home game, being the home team at Alumni Field, as that one's fouled back. Like we mentioned before, the SwampBats were technically not the home team in game 1, as they batted first in that one. That game was scheduled to be earlier this week on Sunday, but it got rescheduled for a doubleheader, and now both are being played here at Alumni Field. The Waves down to their final strike. Barricchio with the 1-2. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Went back to the fastball, went above the zone, and got a chase to end the game with a K.
Wow, so a big win there from the Keene SwampBats. The end result of this doubleheader is sort of what you expected with it being a split, but great fight from both teams, and I think both of them are going to leave this field pretty happy.
So it's a 5-2 win for the SwampBats. As we'll be right back to discuss more on this one after this short break.
Thank you for joining us tonight. That next home game will be tomorrow night when we host the Please travel home safely.
Well, it's a SwampBats win after winning 5-2, and just like that, Coach Sean McKenna with his 100th career victory in the NECBL, and there it is. He's a leader in the NECBL for the Keene SwampBats, 5 seasons and 100 wins with plenty of season to go.
Yeah, and that's got to feel good for Sean McKenna. You feel like it always puts a little better taste in your mouth when you win the second game of a doubleheader, getting to end the night on a high note. I'm sure he wishes that tally was at 101 right now, but he'll take it.
There it is right now, and SwampBats still recovering from a long day, and we'll head down for out-of-town score as well with Andrew Hillsman giving us the update for the out-of-town. Andrew, what you got for us, my man?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, it's an eventful day, as always, here on a beautiful Friday night in the Northeast. Obviously, we had the Ocean State Waves take down Keene earlier in the first game of this doubleheader. Keene gets the revenge 5-2, as all of you just saw. Around the league at Maxfield Sports Complex, we had the Bristol Blues shut out the Upper Valley Nighthawks 3-0. Currently in the bottom of the 8th in Holyoke, Massachusetts, the Vermont Mountaineers have a 5-4 lead against the Valley Blue Sox. This game, of course, just went final. Keene wins 5-2. Danbury took down the Mystic Schooners by a final score of 7-5. That one a quick one in 2 hours and 25 minutes. Currently in the bottom of the 8th, North Shore trails Newport 3-4, and then in the bottom of the 5th, Martha's Vineyard is really taking it to North Adams. They're up 18-2 in the bottom of the 5th. Guys, this has been your NECBL Out of Town scoreboard update. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for that. And we had a very exciting doubleheader here. Nothing like a split where both teams can leave here, Dan, feeling good about themselves, going home with a win.
Yeah, both teams can have a little something to be happy about as they both grabbed a win for the day. That one does kind of leave a sour taste in the Waves' mouths as they, of course, lost the second game. But against a top team like the Keene SwampBats, you take what you can get as the Waves are the first team to pick up a win at Alumni Field, not named SwampBats.
Yeah, that's right. So far this season, the SwampBats have had a lot of success here, and that also starts, and they give a lot of credit to the fans they have here. You know, they go out and perform for them, and they're always backed by these Alumni Field faithful. And the tone was set in the second game early by Kyle Peters. He did a great job on the mound today. He was attacking the zone early and was able to have that longevity and create outs.
As good as Corey Kling looked in game one, I got to say Kyle Peters topped that performance. He pitched 5 2/3, nearly perfect innings. Got a little bit hairy at the end there, but ultimately a big factor powering Keene to the 5-2 win.
And we saw some late life from the Waves. They were able to tack on a couple runs in the second to last inning of this one. It looked like momentum started to be on their side there, but it sort of died out. Yeah,
the Waves did get 2 across in the 6th inning, but that's probably the inning they're going to look back on. They had bases loaded with nobody out. Brandon Duran was able to get 2 across, but if they could have maybe done a little bit more damage there, could have extended this game a bit longer.
Well, the game is over, and Ocean State has a long bus ride back. And listen, Dan, go ahead and go get some sleep, because I know you're up early getting on the bus over here and going home. But it was a pleasure to work with you, Dan. From Dan Shea, I'm Ryan Fitzpatrick, the rest of our production crew. This has been a presentation of ESPN from the New England Collegiate Baseball League. You're watching, and thank you so much for joining us, folks. We'll be back tomorrow.